Hello, everybody. Welcome to Old Tales in Nevada, past and present. We're going to have a great show this week. We're at a very important place in Reno's history. We'll tell you the whole story right after this.
Let's face it, flooding is a fact of life. You may not be able to predict, but you can always prepare to avoid losses to structures, land, and even lives. Traditional protection like sandbags many times don't work. The new solution, trap bag flood and erosion systems. Low cost, great support, high stability, and load capacity. Easy to store and move with quick and easy installation. Protect your life, home, business, or land. For more information on this revolutionary flood and erosion system, contact Trap Bag today.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988. So ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle, we're the biker's bike shop.
Welcome, everybody, to Old Tales Nevada, past and present. I'm John O'Brien, the host of the show. And with me today is Mary Ellen Horn, who is the Executive Director of Arts for all of Nevada.
That is correct.
And welcome.
Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, great.
We're
we got to
excited.
tell people where we're at. We are at, tell us, Mary Ellen.
So we're at the Lake Mansion, which is located now at 250 Court Street and Arlington Avenue and Flint Street, right across the street from the Great Basin Co-op, which a lot of people visit on a daily basis.
Well,
so
super,
right
super.
across the street.
Yeah, so we're so glad to be here because this month is the kickoff for Reno's sesquicentennial.
You said it correctly.
I
Good
did.
job.
You know, I worked on that a lot when the state was having their
Right.
sesquicentennial. So I had to learn how to pronounce that word.
Right.
But it's a great time for Reno. It kicks off in May, and there are going to be special events all the way through till next May.
Right.
The 18th, which is actually the anniversary of the establishment of Reno, Nevada.
Right.
But we're here at the Lake Mansion, very historic building, one of the few historic buildings that have been taken care of over the years here in Reno, and you've been part of that whole effort since what, 1986? When you came
1996 is when we actually moved into the Lake Mansion when it was at the Convention Center site.
Okay.
But then we moved the mansion from the Convention Center in 2004 to this location at Court Street in Arlington.
And how long have you been the executive director?
I have been 1986. You were right.
1986,
Yes,
right, yeah.
you got
So
that
where did you
date
come from?
correctly. I came originally in 1982 from Hollywood, California,
Oh,
Los
right, show
Angeles
business.
area, right? And then moved up here and got my MBA from UNR,
right.
and started working in marketing, advertising in the business world. And then in 1986, I was hired to be the executive director of what was then called Very Special Arts Nevada. And then 2 years ago, we changed it to Arts for All Nevada to better express what we do throughout the state.
Yeah. Well, we have such a great story to tell about what you're doing here with the mansion and then with these other activities, which you're going to talk about as well, that benefit the whole community. So your name that you use now for all Nevadans, Arts for All Nevadans,
Right.
is a fabulous way to describe it. But we want to talk about the history of Reno because, you know, a lot of people have moved into Reno from different places. I'm a Jersey boy, you're from California.
Right.
And many people come here for business or family or retirement, whatever it happens to be. And what we're trying to do with the show is build up pride in Nevada, okay, for living here in Nevada. Because we figure if people know the history of a
Right.
particular place or thing or event or person, that they will develop a good feeling and they'll take better care of their families, they'll take better care of their properties and anything else that goes on in the city.
Right.
So that's our whole mission for the show. And what a great place to start is at the Lake Mansion because Mr. Lake, Myron Lake, was one of the original founders of
Reno.
Reno.
He is considered to be the founder of Reno. And what we're standing in front of is a landscape of, it was from a drawing in 1862, but it was painted in 1882 by McClellan.
Okay.
And so this is where really Reno started.
Yeah.
And you see no trees.
Yeah.
And there's the Truckee River, which now is very much flowing. And then, and that's Lakes Crossing and Lake House, not the Lake Mansion, but that's the Lake House, which Myron Lake owned. And in the foreground is Myron Lake and Chief Winnemucca and his family. So this was the original painting that we have in the dining room. And then anybody who comes and visits will give them a postcard of that painting, which is really pretty cool. He would have people get their provisions there, take showers, spend the night there before they went up to Virginia City or over to California.
Now, this wasn't the original building that was put there, nor the original bridge, because there was a fellow named Billy Fuller, I understand, who had a structure and a bridge.
Right.
And what happened to that?
So for a short period, it was called Fuller's Crossing, then Lakes Crossing, and then for a very short period, it was called Argenta, and then it was called Reno, which was after General Jesse Lee Reno.
Right.
And so Myron Lake bought it from Fuller, and both Fuller and Myron Lake would charge a toll to go across the bridge. So it was like 10 cents per person, 50 cents for a loaded wagon. And Myron Lake did quite well with that enterprise. With all of his other enterprises, he made about $100,000 per year. So he was a very astute business person, not a very nice gentleman.
I hear that
but
all the time.
He really did make a lot of money.
Yeah. The original Fuller House and bridge actually got washed away by a flood, which caused Fuller to want to leave, so he sold it to this man here, Mr. Lake. I think he sold it for, I don't know, a couple $100. It wasn't very much.
Right, but he had to maintain it, so it wasn't cheap because you're right. During the springtime, it would wash out. The bridge would wash out a lot of times. So Myron Lake then would put a sturdier bridge each time that would happen. He would put a sturdier bridge and a more elaborate lake house, which is now the site of the Riverside Artist Loft. So it's you can see how much it has changed.
Yeah, oh boy, I'll tell you. So, because now it's the Riverside, and then we have all the buildings and condos and restaurants all around that area there. This is to the north. We're looking to the north of the bridge there, so this would be the courthouse area and so on and so forth that way, looking out towards UNR. So what a great artist rendition of that. That's fantastic.
So people can come in and see it in our dining room and then tour the rest of the mansion as well. And then C.M. McClellan also did portraits of Myron and Jane Lake.
Okay.
And so they can come in and see those as well. So there's a lot of history, and we really like to say that people can see, hear, and touch Reno's history. We don't quite have the smell down yet, but we have the other senses down. So people, and we're trying to make it as interactive as possible. We have hundreds of fourth graders come in through the HARPS program, Historic Reno Preservation Society come in, and they're so excited to hear about the history of Reno and really to be in a place where so much history has happened.
Now let's talk about the mansion here a little bit. This is the Lake House. We don't want to confuse that with the Lake Mansion, of which we're standing in right now.
Right.
The original location was where?
It was on California and Virginia Street, and then that was sold by the Torillas family, which was the last family who lived in the Lake Mansion. And fortunately, they donated the Lake Mansion to move it to the Washoe Landmark Preservation Society, who was they were family members of the Lake family and Jane Lake, and they got together quickly and were able to raise the funds and the coordination of moving the mansion in 1971. Otherwise, we wouldn't be standing right here. It was going to
be demolished.
It would have been demolished.
Yeah. So they moved it down to the
Convention Center, which was then called the Coliseum.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So in 1971, it was moved 3 miles south. And then around 2000, 2001, we were told that the Liberty Bell and the Lake Mansion needed to be moved or demolished because the convention center folks no longer wanted, they wanted their super block is what they called it back then.
Yeah.
So we moved out of the Lake Mansion for a short period of time when they were doing the renovation of the convention center. And then in 2004, we moved the Lake Mansion from the corner of Kitsky and Virginia Street, 3 miles
it was
the other way, north.
It was what did they describe it as? The most moving event of our town for that year.
Correct.
Yeah,
right.
True.
And it was a lot of work.
Now let's talk about the mansion and the original owner. Who were the original owners? It wasn't Lake.
Right. So it would have been the Marsh family.
Marsh family.
So Jerome and Mariah Marsh, who we have portraits that were donated from the great-granddaughter of the Marsh family, also at the Lake Mansion. So they built the mansion, but they bought the land from Myron Lake. So it is a little bit confusing.
Yeah, I think they paid $375 for it.
So Myron was just involved in pretty much everything land-wise. And so, but then the Lake family, then he bought it from the Marshes and then didn't actually move into the Lake Mansion. But Jane Lake, his wife, did with their child, Charlie, plus her children from her first marriage.
I remember the story after doing a little research there. He bought this place hoping that Jane would not divorce him.
Right.
Okay, because I don't know what the problem
You want to get into the nitty-gritty details of this whole thing.
but that was kind of interesting. He bought this place so that Jane wouldn't divorce him, and she decided to divorce him anyway. He must have been a bad dude, huh?
Yes, the divorce proceedings were not pleasant in any way, shape, or form. And he just was, just not a nice guy.
Not a nice guy.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, some business people aren't that way. We have a lot more the other way here in Reno because we've interviewed a lot of our entrepreneurs, and they are so connected to the Reno community. In fact, you've probably been a beneficiary as this nonprofit from some of those wonderful entrepreneurs that we've had over the years here in Reno. So we appreciate our entrepreneurs.
And even moving the Lake Mansion and our dealings with the community and the state, totally get behind it because I think that people realize that we would really lose a huge part of history if the Lake Mansion was lost.
Right.
So that was it's really inspiring that we have that much community support.
Yeah. Well, in a few minutes, we're going to start walking around and see this mansion. And actually, when you think about mansions, you think of a lot larger structure. Right. But back for the time, this was a large structure in the Reno community. So it truly deserves the designation as a mansion of its time. Right. So we're going to do that. I just had one question. How much did it cost to move from the convention center, those 3.1 miles, plus the renovation to get it all ready?
Right, for all the renovation, for moving, for everything, it was about $1 million. $1 million. Which,
fabulous.
Which is a lot of money, but here we are.
Here we are.
I mean, that's
gorgeous.
Huge.
Yeah, we're going to show people how beautiful this place is. We'll be back with more Old Tales of Nevada at the Lake Mansion on Court and Arlington. And we'll tell you more about the whole structure and the tourism and the art work that's going on here for the community right after this.
Buy Nevada First Gift Shop and Visitor Center at the Reno Town Mall is the place to buy local Nevada-owned products. There is over 4,000 square feet of unique items to choose from. Art, jewelry, books, music, inventions, clothing, candy, pottery, toys, even Nevada-made wine and more. Why, you can even purchase a gift basket full of Nevada-owned products. Buy Nevada First Gift Shop located at the Reno Town Mall, 4001 Virginia Street in Reno. Buy local first.
Hi, I'm Paula.
And I'm Dan. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antiques and Craft Shows at the Livestock Event Center on Wells Avenue.
I'd also like to tell you about our everyday location. We're at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia Street. We're Antique Antiques, booth number 46.
You'll find paintings by Nevada artists, collectible glass, vintage jewelry, Native American jewelry and baskets, antiques and unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques inside Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street.
Come see us.
For your spring and summer wardrobe, Soft pastels have arrived at Boutique Elegante. Wonderful sweaters, tunics, and capris create that special look. Bold and bright, the colors of summer in fabulous combinations of red, navy, white, or black. Beautiful chiffon skirts with coordinating tops. Imagine these fashions at your patio party, a day at the lake, or on a cruise. This and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
Hi, I'm Chris from Past Time at Somewhere in Time. Are you looking for that one-of-a-kind gift that you can't find in the big department store? I have something for all occasions. Got stuff? Need to know whether or not it has value or how to sell it? We can help with that too. Come and see me Tuesday or Wednesday at Past Time in Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street in Reno. Just ask for Chris.
Welcome back to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. We're here at the Lake Mansion on Court in Arlington, its latest residence, after being moved a couple of times from its original location there on California and Virginia Street. I'm here with Mary Ellen Horn, who is the Executive Director of Art for All of Nevada.
Arts for All Nevada.
Arts for All Nevada, and she is in charge of this project here, the Lake Mansion, and the restoration of it, the moving of it, and now taking care of the tourism that's involved, and just ready to tell us the story here about the
Well, and so many
mansion.
people have not been in the Lake Mansion, and we welcome everybody.
Yeah.
We're here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and for a lot of special events. We rent the Lake Mansion for weddings,
Really?
for memorial services, for all birthday parties, anything
I don't
that
think people
anybody...
know that.
They don't know
Yeah,
that, and
yeah.
that's why I'm so glad you're here.
Well, we're happy to be here because this is a thing of pride for
Right.
the Reno community, and it's so great that you're able to restore this place and open it up to the public. Because so many times in Nevada, when things get old, they just destroy it. In fact, this was in danger of being destroyed a couple of times.
So it's a perfect example of adaptive reuse. So we're an arts organization. We've been around for 30 years. We do art workshops here. We do art camps for children. We're out in the community. We do about 3,000 art workshops a year.
Wow.
We also have an art access gallery here. So adaptive reuse is huge. I mean, there's a lot of, I think it's really happening a lot more across the nation, but right here in Reno as well. Like just recently, Patagonia repurposed the building on Center Street. So that's a good example of keeping what we have and adapting it. So we're here in the formal parlor of the Lake Mansion.
This is the formal. This is where guests would be brought in and meet Mr. Lake, who is behind us here. This is a wonderful portrait of him.
So this is by McClellan. We have Jane and Myron Lake, and same artist, which is kind of unusual that he did portraits and landscapes, but both in oil. So there is good old Myron.
And looks like a very determined, firm man.
He is a firm man. And he was married to Jane, and they had one child, Charlie Lake
over here.
Jr. He did not have children. So that bloodline, good or bad, died out. But Jane did have 3 children. She actually had 4 children. One died before they moved here. And so, and their family was behind the saving the Lake Mansion.
So was young Charlie, was he as good a business person as was Myron?
Not as much.
Not as much. He kind of shied away from that. That happens in families where you have a strong leader.
We don't have a lot of history on Junior, but he did not live a full life, and we think that he moved to Sacramento, and then he was kind of lost as far as what happened to him. But so the men would be in here having cigars and whiskey. Did you bring yours? Are we?
Well, I thought you might have a shot too for me. We could have had a little fun with that. But anyway, this is an entertainment room for the gentlemen, and then the ladies were probably in the parlor.
In the more the family parlor.
Family part of it.
But so music would have been a big part.
Music would have been playing, and look what we brought with us today. Larry Elliott. Oh, Larry.
So this is a Steinway piano. Thank you. Nice job.
Beautiful job. Yes, yes. Larry shows up in the strangest places, you know. But great to have you here at the Lake Mansion, Larry. And you're standing in front, or sitting in front of Jane's portrait. Jane.
So Jane Lake did
Jane
live
Lake.
here with her family and her mother for many years. Myron Lake purchased the Lake Mansion from the Marsh family.
Marsh family, who were ranchers, I understand.
Right, and so Mariah and Jerome Marsh, who owned an organ company as well.
Oh, okay.
And so we'll see a plank from their organ company. crate as well. So there's Jane. She was very well liked in the community, and then it was passed on to 3 other families too, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, right. And the architecture is amazing. And as I look at the crown molding, I was saying I've done crown molding myself, and just looking at this very complicated architecture up there, you had to have some really skilled artisans here to do that kind of work. So how would you describe this architecture that we see around us here?
Right. So lots of crown molding. They wouldn't have obviously had electricity back then, so there would have been more gas lamps. We tried to keep everything as original as possible. All the molding is all original. Jane Lake really liked wall-to-wall carpeting, because a lot of people come in and say, "Where's the hardwood floors?"
Yeah.
But we don't have, there's hardwood floors underneath this, but she liked the wall, so it was one of the first homes that had wall-to-wall carpeting.
It really quiets it down, too.
Yeah, it does, yeah. This is obviously not the original carpeting, but it would have been a similar pattern. The colors were all researched to see what would have been used throughout the mansion, and it's just, people come in, and it's not like this in any house that you'll see being built today.
Right. The yellow is pretty amazing.
Right, and the craftsmanship is just really very amazing.
I was reading some research on the structure, and they called it Italianate.
Right,
is that what it is? Is that inside and outside?
Right. Mostly outside. And then we also have a widow's walk at the top of the building.
Explain the widow's walk.
So the widow's walk, we're not by any lake or ocean or anything else, but people get confused with the Lake Mansion. They think we're up by Lake Tahoe or Virginia Lake or anything. But the widow's walk was mostly in New England, looking out over the ocean. So the wife would be up at the widow's walk hoping that her husband would be coming back from an excursion out in the ocean. Many times they did not come back. So that's why it was called the widow's walk.
Okay, so that's incorporated. We'll get that on screen for you as well. But as you walk through, now this is, like I say, this is the more or less public area. A guest would come in. And then we're walking, as we walk backwards, if that's possible, Cesar. Cesar is our producer. As we walk, we're coming to the front area of the building itself, and this is the
and this would have been the front door.
Yeah, the front door. So guests would come in here, and of course, it didn't have that screen in front of it. It would just be these doors. Beautiful glasswork. Is that original?
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that we put the storm door was to protect these wonderful etched glass.
Yeah, they are gorgeous.
They are
and they have it above the door as well. And did they depict anything in particular?
This is the goddess Flora.
Okay.
And then there's a fruit bowl. I don't know if you can see it with the light coming in. But the craftsmanship is really very amazing. And I think you see throughout the mansion just the architectural features that they use. Even just the hinges for the doors were architecturally beautiful.
Perfect. Yeah.
So it's just, you see those things every time when I come in here, you see something different.
Yeah, I'm amazed that Lake was able to purchase it from the Marshes for $5,000.
Right.
With this kind of architecture and the ornateness of it and everything. It's absolutely beautiful. And so anyway, the guest would come in here, and then you have that beautiful staircase, and this leads up to where? What's
there
upstairs?
Would have been 4 bedrooms upstairs. During the Depression, during many times during the life of the mansion, during the Depression, they rented out the upstairs to 2 different apartments.
Oh, okay.
I've had somebody come and say, really, can I go upstairs? Can I go upstairs? And I said, well, no, it's closed to the public. But this guy lived with his brother in my office. And so I said, come on up, you can see it. So his parents and his 2 brothers lived upstairs. And then there was not originally, but at one point, an outside staircase as well. So then people could just go right up there.
You know what I found interesting too, Mary Ellen, is that the structure they used redwood as the for the framing and whatever else. That's kind of unusual, isn't it?
Well, and boy, it's sturdy because it did move twice.
Yeah,
and
right.
so instead of 2x4s, which we use now, it was more 2x6s that was used to construct the mansion.
And redwood's great because you can't destroy it with termites or anything like that.
Right.
It's pretty self-sustaining. Well, it's gorgeous the way you kept everything. Is that the original lamp?
You know, that's when I moved. When we first walked in here, I thought, well, that's got to go.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't match anything else in the mansion. But apparently, I was told that that's the only original light fixture in the mansion.
Really?
So it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
And it's neat because you can lower it or you can raise it. It has a little, we should be doing that today for ceiling fixtures.
Absolutely, So anyway, you come across the hallway from the public area, and then we're walking into this. Now we have displayed a lot of the artwork from your other endeavors, but with this,
This would have been the library.
Oh, the library. Oh, this is the library.
This would have been the library.
Okay, so were there shelving?
There would have been books.
Books?
When we moved in, there was not shelving, or we would have kept it. So this is our Art Access Gallery, and it's artwork by emerging and professional artists who have some type of disability.
Okay.
And the artists get 85% of whatever is sold, and we get 15%, which most galleries are 50-50 or 40-60. So this is really a program of Arts for All Nevada that we have, and it's an important program. So people, it's hard for any artist to have their artwork shown in a gallery, but especially people who have mental, physical, or emotional type of issues. So we really feel that this is an important.
So when I look at the ceiling here and I see that beautiful light or chandelier, and then all that woodwork, that's original as
all
well?
original, we did not, we would never take down any of the moldings. And in each of the rooms you can see so this would have been, in most of the rooms there would have been a fireplace for heat, because obviously there wasn't forced air heating or air conditioning or anything like that.
Okay.
And it would have gone up a vent, and then you can see the feature of the hole there. So in most of the rooms there is around about that size feature that a pipe would have gone out and vented out.
Okay. Well, listen, we have to take another break, and we're about halfway through the mansion. As you can see, it's not a huge space, but certainly a mansion of its time. So we're going to be back with the rest of the story on the Lake Mansion right here.
Somewhere in Time is the place to find what will be treasured for all time. A store full of the unexpected, with one of the largest beer and sports memorabilia collections on the West Coast. Vintage toys, casino and brothel memorabilia, Venton glassware, kerosene lamps from the 1800s, sun purple glassware, vintage neon, new and enlarged collections throughout the store. Have fun with the whole family and check out all the inventory in the store. Find the unexpected that'll be treasured for all time at Somewhere in Time. Let's face it, flooding is a fact of life. You may not be able to predict, but you can always prepare to avoid losses to structures, land, and even lives. Traditional protection like sandbags many times don't work. The new solution, trap bag flood and erosion systems. Low cost, great support, high stability, and load capacity. Easy to store and move with quick and easy installation. Protect your life, home, business, or land. For more information on this revolutionary flood and erosion system, contact Trap Bag today.
Hi, I'm Paula.
And I'm Dan. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antiques and Craft Shows at the Livestock Event Center on Wells Avenue.
I'd also like to tell you about our everyday location. We're at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia Street. We're Antique Antiques, booth number 46.
You'll find paintings by Nevada artists, collectible glass, vintage jewelry, Native American jewelry and baskets, antiques and unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques inside Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street.
Come see us!
Hi, I'm Chris from Past Time at Somewhere in Time. Are you looking for that one-of-a-kind gift that you can't find in the big department store? I have something for all occasions. Got stuff? Need to know whether or not it has value or how to sell it? We can help with that too. Come and see me Tuesday or Wednesday at Pastime in Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street in Reno. Just ask for Chris.
Hi there, I'm Hugh Roy Marshall of the Marshall Mint in Virginia City, Nevada. I'm proud to announce that our 7-ingot set honoring the V&T Railroad is now finished.
That's right, Roy. These beautiful 999 silver ingots celebrate the engines from the world-famous V&T Railroad and honor Nevada's sesquicentennial. These limited edition treasures can be purchased only at the Marshall Mint in Virginia City, Nevada.
Or visit us at marshallmint.com to get yours today.
For your spring and summer wardrobe, soft pastels have arrived at Boutique Elegante. Wonderful sweaters, tunics, and capris create that special look. Bold and bright, the colors of summer in fabulous combinations of red, navy, white, or black. Beautiful chiffon skirts with coordinating tops. Imagine these fashions at your patio party, a day at the lake, or on a cruise. This and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
We're back here in Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. Just to remind you who we are, I'm John O'Brien, the host of the show, and with me is Mary Ellen Horan, who is the Executive Director for Arts for All Nevada.
Correct.
All right. Third time, third room. I finally got it right. Anyway, we're having a great time. We're taking a tour here of the Lake Mansion, one of the original grand buildings here in Reno, and we're here because we're kind of kicking off the sesquicentennial for Reno, Nevada, and it all starts here in May of 17, and it's going to run all the way through May of 18. And so a lot of events going to be happening, right? All over the community.
Right. So the whole year, 17 to 18, May 9th, is actually considered to be Reno's birthday, 149th birthday in 2017 and 150 in 2018.
Yeah.
So, and it was originally called Lakes Crossing, and so here we are at the Lake Mansion.
Lake Mansion, where Jane Lake and her kids lived, and others. We mentioned some of the owners.
Right.
And one of the more notable ones might be Hers, Mr. Hers, that family, and Hers Jewelry, which a lot of people are familiar with, right? Now, did he live in the California location? He did?
Correct,
okay.
Yeah. So it would have those 5 founding families, which Patty Cafferata has written a wonderful book about the Lake Mansion.
The Lake Mansion.
And it's the Lake Mansion, home to Reno's founding families.
Yeah.
So the Hers family lived here, and the Ward family, and the last family was the Torellas family.
Okay.
But the Marsh family is the one who
Marsh
actually
family
built.
Was the first ones, Some were ranchers, some were jewelers, different endeavors here in Reno. Now, we are standing in a special place. This is the master bedroom.
Right. It would have been the master bedroom, and we have 4th graders come in here, and we talk about no electricity, no heating, no air conditioning, none of those things. And the one thing is no plumbing.
Yeah, wow.
And so the question is, well, where did you go to the restroom? And so I'll point out the chamber pot, and that really freaks them out.
Yeah.
So,
man.
So if they're not into camping or any of those things, that to think about that. But people in hospitals now use that too. So it's still
it works.
It's still used.
Works, not a big space for a master bedroom, but as you were explaining, the beds and the fixtures like you have behind us, that's some original fixtures, right?
This is not a Lake family piece, but it would have been. It could have been
used similar.
Right, similar to that, right? And then we have the artwork on top of it is Norman Platt's work, and that's part of the artwork that we sell here at the Lake Mansion.
So you not only get the history of the mansion, but you get to see all this beautiful artwork.
It's a double deal.
Unbelievable.
We liked Arts for All Nevada. We've got lots of different hats. I mean, we were an arts organization for a very long time, and then when the Lake Mansion was donated to us, we put the history hat on. So we've got the arts hat, the history hats, of course, education and the importance of that.
Is there admission to come into the building?
There is no admission.
Free admission.
But we love donations because
it
takes a lot to run the building year-round and to learn about the arts. So we do art workshops here. We do art camps here. We have a wonderful art studio downstairs. And then we have an adjacent building as well.
Oh, super. So again, I see a yellow paint. It's kind of the paint of the day back then, huh?
Right, the light yellow.
Yeah.
And then all the molding, the wonderful molding that we have
molding
throughout.
amazing to look at. Amazing to look at. If you have any interest in carpentry, come here because you're going to see some stuff that you just don't see done anymore.
No, absolutely
And if it is done, it's very expensive to be done.
Right.
Can we walk through the hallway here, Cesar? Can we do that? And we're going to be walking into what part of the house now?
This would have been the family parlor.
Okay.
And
family.
so we have these wonderful pocket doors.
Oh, yeah.
Once you get in here, then so those would have been closed. And then we have the fireplace, which is why this is really more the family parlor, because the heat source would have been the fire here.
And so every room had to have its own heat source.
Some type of heat source.
And they heated probably what? Wood.
Right.
Wood,
right,
not coal
right.
or anything like that.
Right.
So this is where the family would gather and do whatever they do in those days. What kind of activities? Reading.
Reading was very important. Music was very important. That's why they probably would have had a piano in some place in the house, but probably in the formal parlor. Yeah. So all those things were mostly what they, and storytelling. Storytelling would have been very big
I would
then.
imagine so.
So this is the original fireplace and the original brick.
That's beautiful. What is that? What kind of stone is that?
It's a salt brick is what it was called then, and we feel like it was really important to keep everything as original as
now
possible.
This wood that they're using for the fireplace, is that some kind of special wood? Or
I was afraid you were going to ask me that when you were going to I do not know what type of wood this is.
I wonder if it's locally available.
Resourced. It could have been.
Yeah, I mean,
although there weren't many trees back then.
As we saw in that portrait there,
Right.
No, this is beautifully done, and I love that stone. Is that a local stone, do you know, or is that
No,
imported?
I think that was shipped. Yeah,
it was
that was shipped.
huh?
I think I read that it was from Italy.
It was, okay.
Right.
We're seeing again what this might have looked like when it was sitting in its original location. Beautiful grounds. What was it, about 2 acres, I believe it was sitting on?
I'm not sure. I know that they did lease the land. We have a black and white photograph of a gas station. It looked like it was like feet from the house that they had. So back then it was important to get as much money from the property as you possibly could.
And that porch is still available, and hopefully we can get some shots of that as we do our B-roll for the show.
And you can see the Widow's Walk.
Yeah, you can see the Widow's Walk on top that we mentioned earlier. What a beautiful setting, huh?
Right.
And they planted a couple of trees.
They did, and I don't know if that was actually because the person who painted it wouldn't have been there during that time period, but yes, it is a beautiful setting.
Yeah. And I was looking at our what would you call this space here?
A bay window.
That's just a bay window, okay. But unique for its time, though.
Right.
Yeah.
So and the curtains are they're not original, obviously, but we did, again, researched it and made sure that it would have looked like something like this.
And I love this, I don't know what they call that. I know there's a name for these things, but...
Right, and it's interesting. There's not a whole lot of other detail like those throughout the mansion, so we're not real sure if those other pieces, maybe there was a lot more than that was taken during the years.
Sure.
But that is a lot of detail, but reminds me of the architecture from the outside as well.
Yeah, very close to that. Absolutely, that Italianate that we were talking about earlier. Well, let's walk back here, and this is where we're standing in the beginning of our show, and this is the dining area, the family dining area, or
it would have been the family dining and for guests as well, right?
Yeah. So how many was this an original piece from?
It's not an original piece. It was donated by the Durkee family. I'll say about 3 years ago. Okay. And it really is quite beautiful. You can't really see it from but the wood texture of it is just really beautiful. And they also donated a sideboard to us as well.
Yeah, that's oak. I know that. I can tell by looking at that. That's oak. And then you were telling me that's an addition.
Right. So Jane Lake put on the solarium, and she really liked the light.
Yes, the sunroom is the way it was described to me.
So it was back in that period. A lot of the rooms were dark, but Jane didn't like dark rooms, so that's why she opened it up. And it probably would have had a lot more plants. We use it now to display our pictures of the moves, both the 1971 move and the 2004 move.
Okay, great.
And in this room too, we also have portraits of Mariah and Jerome Marsh, and I earlier talked about them owning the New Era Organ Company.
Right.
And so we talk about recycling and the importance of recycling today, but we don't really think about it back then. And so really I think people recycled more back then than we even do today. So they own this organ company. And when we were up in the attic exploring, once the mansion was donated to us, we found these planks in the attic. And so they used the planks from the crates to ship the organs to build the Lake Mansion. So we decided to take one down, and so we could talk about the importance of recycling, and that the Marsh family, that they own this New Era Organ Company.
It's amazing to me how many different industries Reno's had in the past.
Oh,
you know,
definitely,
it seems like there's always an entrepreneur brings something new, and it continues through today.
I was going to say, today we have Switch and Tesla and all those. So
we have so many innovative entrepreneurs over the history of Reno.
So these are the Marshes: Washington Jerome Marsh and Mariah Polly Smith Marsh as well. And so these two portraits were donated to us by the Barnett family, who is a great-great-granddaughter.
Were they pretty close? Were they close in age? She looks, I hate to say it, she looks older than he does, you know?
Boy, those women, they aged a lot because they were working hard.
She looks like a hard worker.
Yes, and I don't know if, and we said the same thing when we saw them, but we don't know when these were taken. But they were close in age. One was, I think it's 1829 and 1826.
Oh, they were close in age.
That they were born. So it was wonderful that we have these portraits of the Marsh family here, and that they were donated to us to really get more of the history.
That's great. And there's lots of pictures displayed around here, like you're talking about the move and all that kind of thing. You can see all that here in the solarium or sunroom. So when you come through, you can spend, I would imagine, a couple hours in here if you really wanted to have some fun and
if you really got into it,
yes,
you could. And we always celebrate Reno's birthday. So May 9th, whatever year, we will be here with birthday cake and tours and everything. During July, we have a lot of events, but really year-round we have events here. And then again, people can rent the Lake Mansion for memorial services. Throughout the year, we also have teas. We have 3 to 4 teas, which are a fundraiser for us, that people can come and have a tea, and it's a great event.
All right. Well, listen, we got to keep moving. We got a few more rooms to look at. I think at least one more room to take a look at.
Right.
We'll take a break for our sponsors so they can identify themselves, and then we'll come back and talk about our room in the back here, and then also about the other work you're doing as a nonprofit for the arts here in the Reno community. So stay tuned. More Old Tales of Nevada, past and present, coming your way.
Somewhere in Time is the place to find what will be treasured for all time. A store full of the unexpected, with one of the largest beer and sports memorabilia collections on the West Coast. Vintage toys, casino and brothel memorabilia, Benton glassware, kerosene lamps from the 1800s, sun purple glassware, vintage neon, new and enlarged collections throughout the store. Have fun with the whole family and check out all the inventory in the store. Find the unexpected that'll be treasured for all time at Somewhere in Time.
Deluxe Travel, locally owned and operating since 1991, is the home for travel to Mexico and Central and South America. The crew at Deluxe Travel is bilingual, trustworthy, thorough, and caring. They will do everything possible to make your dream vacation the best it can be. Now is the time to book for winter travel, so stop by the office at 100 California Avenue or call 686-7000. You can also check us out on our website at deluxetravelLTD.com.
At Deluxe Travel, we sell dreams. Come in and plan yours.
Let's face it, flooding is a fact of life. You may not be able to predict, but you can always prepare to avoid losses to structures, land, and even lives. Traditional protection like sandbags many times don't work. The new solution, Trap Bag Flood and Erosion Systems. Low cost, great support, high stability, and load capacity. Easy to store and move with quick and easy installation. Protect your life, home, business, or land. For more information on this revolutionary flood and erosion system, contact Trap Bag today.
You have got to come and see our bridal designer collection here at Precision Diamonds. We bought our building, lower the overhead. That means everyday low prices to you.
For your spring and summer wardrobe, soft pastels have arrived at Boutique Elegante. Wonderful sweaters, tunics, and capris create that special look. Bold and bright, the colors of summer in fabulous combinations of red, navy, white, or black. Beautiful chiffon skirts with coordinating tops. Imagine these fashions at your patio party, a day at the lake, or on a cruise. This and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
Hi, I'm Paula.
And I'm Dan. We're the producers of the Tanner's Marketplace Antiques and Craft Shows at the Livestock Event Center on Wells Avenue.
I'd also like to tell you about our everyday location. We're at Somewhere in Time on South Virginia Street. We're Antique Antiques, booth number 46.
You'll find paintings by Nevada artists, collectible glass, vintage jewelry, Native American jewelry and baskets, antiques and unusual to unique items.
Find it all at Antique Antiques inside Somewhere in Time at 1313 South Virginia Street.
Come see us.
All of us at Shoeman's Custom Cycle are ready to get you and your Harley ready for the road. From oil and tire changes to high-performance engine upgrades and dyno tuning, we at Shoeman's have got you covered with experienced factory-certified mechanics and a full-service machine shop loaded with parts and accessories. Shoeman's Custom Cycle has been serving Northern Nevada since 1988. So ride on down to Shoeman's Custom Cycle at 275 East 4th Street in downtown Reno.
Shoeman's Custom Cycle with a biker's bike shop.
For your spring and summer wardrobe, soft pastels have arrived at Boutique Elegante. Wonderful sweaters, tunics, and capris create that special look. Bold and bright, the colors of summer in fabulous combinations of red, navy, white, or black. Beautiful chiffon skirts with coordinating tops. Imagine these fashions at your patio party, a day at the lake, or on a cruise. This and so much more at Boutique Elegante.
Everything is handpicked here at Precision Diamonds.
Welcome back to Old Tales of Nevada, past and present. This is our last segment here at the Lake Mansion, and we've had a great tour so far. Mary Ellen, thank you for being able to
We're happy to have you here.
A place I've gone by 100 times, more than 100 times, hundreds of times. And I never pulled over.
Shame on you. So all your listeners, they need to come on down.
It really is worth the stop. And it's free admission. You can walk in. What's your hours here?
So I usually get here at 8 a.m., but our hours for tours are like 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then we do a lot of special events throughout the year.
So if you're a visitor in Reno, you're looking for something to do instead of going to Virginia City necessarily, come over here.
Right, or do both.
Yeah, and then you get the art museum next door.
Right, exactly, blocks away.
Yeah.
And on Friday, we do guided tours. Friday at noon are guided tours throughout the year.
Then you got Midtown right around just here.
Exactly.
Great restaurants. I mean, this is a great place to be. So anyway, we're in one of the more important parts of the house. This is the kitchen. This is where a lot of stuff happened. Now, as we see, it's not totally original anymore, but this was the kitchen area.
Right. So Jane Lake added the kitchen area, and then we have it so it more or less would have looked like this. It might have been a little bit larger, but we made it so it was more open shelving, which would have been common in those days. Yeah. And then we have a lot of kitchen equipment that we let people pick up, and guess what the kitchen equipment is? A lot of people know an iron and a washboard. Right. This one sometimes is a stumper on it. What this is, which is a toaster. Yeah. If you go camping, you would know that. Yeah. And then this one is really, I shouldn't give this all away. Now people are going to know what they all are.
That was unusual.
This is a berry picker.
There you go.
And then this piece is the original steel wool. So if people come in and know what these are, I'm going to know that they watched your show.
There you go. So well, let's hope they do for sure. And so you've modified this area, but it would be a very functional area if you had. Right. I imagine that's a stove of the era right there, that little miniature one.
Right. So this would have been a large stove that probably would have taken up this whole wall here, but we show this so then people can kind of of get an idea what it would have looked like.
Right, yeah.
And then we made it so there was a lot of counter space, and that's what caterers really like. So we have people who come in and cater their wedding or their memorial service or bridal shower, baby shower.
And the rate is very reasonable.
It is very reasonable. The ambiance is great because especially people who don't know each other at a party, they can come in and they can talk about all the different things that we have in
Gives
here.
you conversation pieces for sure.
Right.
So $100 an hour.
Right, for the garden pavilion, and then it's more like $150 to $200 for the lake mansion.
For the lake mansion.
Right.
You have use of the whole floor, as we have explored. Upstairs is off limits because that's where your office is. And like you said, if somebody wanted to do a tour up there, it'd be very expensive because you'd have to clean up all the offices.
Oh, you've been up there, huh?
No, I don't want to go look, actually. All right, well, listen, let's go out the back door. And we're going to walk over to the pavilion. We've been talking about that for quite a while here on the show. And that's the other part of your mission is not only to preserve this beautiful mansion, this original building, but also do some wonderful things for the community. So let's go over there. Well, Mary Ellen, we're standing right in front of the pavilion.
Right.
And you call it the art pavilion or?
The garden pavilion,
garden
we call
pavilion,
it.
Okay.
Right.
And that is where many of the special events take place. And do you do classes and that sort of thing?
We do classes, we do camps, we have camps throughout the year, especially for school break and during the summer. So they get an hour of visual art, an hour of creative movement, and an hour of theater. So it's for the whole week, for 9 a.m. to noon, and then 1 to 4 o'clock. It's for that 3 hours, it's $100 for the whole week. So we make it very reasonable for everyone. We don't make a lot of money about it, but boy, the arts are so important for our community to be able to participate in. So we try to make all of our workshops
now,
and
is
our
that
camps.
available just to the kids, or is it available to anyone? So I could learn to be an actor.
You could.
For $100, I could be an actor.
There you go. Well, we do have mostly visual art classes for adults. So we do a paint and sip where you can come in and do an acrylic painting, and you can bring your own wine and beverages.
Really?
So it's very affordable, and it's famous paintings like a Matisse or a Van Gogh. So we pick a painting that then people can do. We have all ages paint and sips, and then we have ones just for adults.
And you have instructors that kind of help you.
We do.
What about brushes and paint and all that kind of thing?
All included.
It's all included.
Yep. So you don't have to worry about going to the store and getting any of your supplies. It's all included. And it's a lot of times it's just a touch of the art. So we have like an introduction to painting. So if you're not real sure if you want to jump in 100% and spend a lot of money on supplies, you can come and see if you really would enjoy it, and then go and spend.
I've kind of had that in the back of my mind for years.
Well, we'll have to have you come.
In high school, I used to be pretty good with the with the watercolors.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
And I said, I should take that up again now that I have a little more time.
Right.
Right. But while we're here, I want to point out the architecture on the outside of the house. We got the beautiful porch. Do they call that a porch?
It's a wraparound porch.
Wraparound porch. And then also I don't know what you call it, that scrolling made of wood there.
Right.
It's really pretty.
And then, which is up on the cornices as well. So it goes all the way up. And then it also goes up to our Widow's Walk, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah. Now, they had access to that, huh?
Yes, and we still do have access to it, but we don't go up there a whole lot because there's a very steep attic to go up there.
I imagine the view from up there is fantastic.
It is fantastic, yeah.
So in order to find out about anything you're doing here, no doubt you have a website.
We do. It's artsforallnevada, spelt out.org.
Okay. And they can call if they want.
They can call.
Talk to you. Or how many employees do you have?
I'm the only full-time person, and then we have 4 part-time
Okay. You get a lot
people
of
as well.
Get a lot of docents, we call them.
Volunteers, we really need volunteers because to be able to do this program on a year-round basis, we really depend on our volunteers. So if anybody's interested in volunteering, either to help with the Lake Mansion or to help with Arts for All Nevada, we would love to have them come.
I imagine the budget to maintain a structure like that's pretty important.
It is. It can be a little bit, when I get the utility bill every month, it can be a little staggering. So I'm always around turning off all the lights.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
Good CEO that you are.
Right.
Yeah. So, what is the electrical bill for something like that?
Probably our utilities on a year-round basis for all the utilities is around $20,000.
$20,000. Wow,
Right.
that's
yeah.
plenty.
Yeah.
That's
It's not too bad, but
I imagine just to paint this place is huge. It's a constant. Is it
right? We repainted it in 2013, and this was the first time that we put, for us, we put green trim on it. The reason that we did that is we found from paint shavings that it originally did have green trim on it, so we decided to go back to what the original was.
And that would go so good with that setting there over on California. You can almost see the original place.
Right, we're not that far from it. Yeah, we're blocks
away
away from it. Yeah.
So that's very cool.
So we built the garden pavilion in 2008, and so that's just steps from the Lake Mansion going to the south, and then we have also this wonderful courtyard. So people have tended this space for weddings and all different things that we have here, and we also have meetings in the garden pavilion as well. So you can have a weekly meeting or a monthly meeting here too, but it really works out well to tent this area, and then you can double the space from the garden pavilion.
Makes sense. And the governor's even been here, right?
The governor has been here for different events.
We've been trying to get him on the show. So if you run into him, tell him to call me.
I will tell him.
We'll make it easy on him. But then you have some great parking back here. So if you do have a wedding or special event, or you're just here for the class, you got a place to park. You don't have to worry about plugging the meter. Right. And is this free out here?
There's street and meter parking out in front as well. And on Sundays, it's free meter parking as well. So 3 times during the year, we have our wonderful Family Art Festival, which is free. So once in July, again in November, and then again in March, that people can come down for free and do 8 art workshops, get their faces painted, free book. It's really a fun event. So they should all go to our website and find out all the different programs that we have.
You should just be so proud of yourself and your organization, really, because we need more of this. We do. I know HARPS is involved in a similar type of preservation and reconstruction, and that's really cool, to keep that history going. I'm from the East Coast, right? And you're from California, but in the East Coast, things go back to the 1600s.
Right.
In our town, my little town, there was a library we used all the time, and it was a building from the 1600s.
Wow.
And they just preserved it,
It's so important.
And I'd like to see Nevada, if that's one thing we could do better, is work on that preservation of history. That's why we do the show, actually.
Right.
So that we can do an audio and visual preservation of history, people, places, things and events, and then put it in the archives at the Historical Society.
It's huge.
So it never goes away.
So when we're here in 200 years, we'll still be.
Well, Mary,
I'm glad we saved them.
Let's hope we're around 200 years from now. That'd be kind of cool if that would work out that way, So anyway, we want to thank you for letting us come over. How much time do we have left, guys, for our show? Got about 3 minutes. Okay, so
do you want to walk in?
Can we take a quick look at that, or is it too much to do? No, let's not walk in there.
Okay, we won't. So it's an open space. It's not historic. It's more modern. It's about 700 square feet.
700 square feet.
We built it in 2008 because we were lacking the space for our workshops and our camps and special events. So we decided to build this. We had wonderful community support to be able to build it. So there's doors all the way around, so it's a great space for lighting. We have ceiling fans in there. There's also a restroom in there. There's a refrigerator in there. So people can rent just this space out and the courtyard, or they can rent the garden pavilion and the Lake Mansion. We've had people do the ceremony, a wedding ceremony in the Lake Mansion, then come over here for the reception.
Makes sense.
So it's really an ideal location, and then with tenting it doubles the space. So you can
then you also have the basement too.
And we also have our art studio downstairs, which when we moved over here, we built the basement, and then we rolled the mansion over, which people can see photos in the dining room of both the move and the renovation, which people are really interested in how we were able to move the building, and then what we did once we got here.
And the vehicles that moved the building is pretty amazing.
It's pretty amazing.
We'll have that up on the show as well. But Mary Ellen, thanks so much for letting us come back and or come here for the first time actually, and take a look at this beautiful structure. So much history happened in that building.
Yeah, and let's all celebrate Reno's 150.
Yes, pay attention to the calendar of events. I imagine they'll be out there somehow, some way.
Lots
and we're going to help.
on.
We're going to do a show every month about the history of Reno.
Perfect.
And so we look forward to working with the city on that, and just keep that pride moving forward here in Northern Nevada. So again, thank you for being with us today. Mary Ellen, thank you for giving us the tour, and invite everybody back next week for another episode of Old Tales of Nevada, Past and Present.